See?
Press, thank you.
Can you ask that
Thank you very much.
last question?
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, thank you.
All right, Trump's medical team there walking away from the podium after addressing the media regarding Donald Trump's coronavirus diagnosis. Not giving too much away, but for more, let's go to Martin Himmel, international affairs expert. Hello again, Martin. I'm sure you were just listening in at that press conference there, delivered at the hospital. What did you make of it, especially with this question that journalists just kept putting to that physician regarding oxygen?
Well, there was obviously a very painful effort by the doctor to stay as truthful as possible. He did not want to go off on what I would call a Trumpian spin. He mentioned that he's working and that his chief of staff is keeping him busy. That's Trumpian. But when it comes to medicine, he wanted to stay on course. And I think that the key thing there was that as long as they've been dealing with him, he has not been on oxygen, which seems to infer that at some stage he was on oxygen. That doesn't mean that he is in desperate need of it now. The other two points that are important is that he's on remdesivir, which is a very important drug when you are in a more advanced state of the illness. If you've reached a more advanced stage, you're supposed to be then on remdesivir, not when you're in an early stage. That does not mean that he's critically ill, but they're using it as a prophylactic. They're using it as a way to prevent further damage, which seems to indicate he's not just completely symptom-free or mild symptom-free. He's somewhere in between that and the fear that he could go into a more precarious state. The third thing they mentioned is that the dangerous time has been between the 7th and 10th day. That's because during the 7th and the 10th day, there's the issue of inflammation in the lungs, that the lungs could have some damage. When there's inflammation in the lungs, there's secretions, there's edema, there's water, and that in itself can be very dangerous to someone in breathing. And they want to prevent that. And so he's not in that situation, but they want to keep an eye on that. The other little slip that gives us an indication is that his wife is doing just fine. She has very mild symptoms. There's no reason for her to be in Walter Reed, which begs the question, then he obviously has some need to be at Walter Reed. And yes, he is the president, but I think we can read in all this is that he's not in the stage of completely symptom-free or very light symptoms. He has more serious symptoms, probably some difficulty of breathing that they've dealt with. He's definitely being fully oxygenated. He's fine on his own right now. They're worried about the future. That's why they're keeping him there. And I bet if they have it their way, they would keep him at least 10 days to see what happens between that stretch. That doesn't mean the presidents would be there for 10 days.
Certainly. And also when that doctor said they're trying to encourage him to eat and drink. And Martin, tell me, can this really sort of set off a lot of public alarm, something like this, a health crisis with the president?
Well, as long as he, and they made a point of stressing it, as long as he is in command, quote unquote, as long as he's fulfilling the essential cognitive duties of being president, I am sure he'll do everything and anything to stay that way. The last thing he wants to do is to hand over the duties or to be forced to have the duties transferred to Mike Pence. At this stage, just before an election, that's the last thing he wants. So they went to pains, and I'm sure that came from the administration, to say that he's working, that the chief of staff has got him working really hard. And I think that they're trying to stress that he's in charge right now. If he's not in charge, that will be a major warning bell that he's in serious condition.
And we found out, Martin, on Friday about this diagnosis, although the doctors there say it's been at 72 hours, which would make it Thursday, late Thursday.
That's right. That's right. Your math is right. And that means there was a long period of time and maybe meetings that he had where they were not sharing to the world that he was positive.
All right. And what more can we expect to be going on, now with contact tracing rather very quickly, Martin? We've only got about 25 seconds.
Well, they already have several senators. They've got they've got his campaign manager. They've got his close confidant, Kellyanne Conway, who have been infected. It's spreading down.
All right.
I'm sure that
Martin, we have to leave it there. And that is all we have time for. Talk to you later. Thank you.